Today we're talking about how you deal with not having closure in your life. How's it going, guys? Dr. Tank Farm D here, board certified practicing medicine specialist and personal health coach, helping action takers like you take back control of their lives and emotional health. And although I am a practicing medicine specialist, I'm not your specialist. So if you have any questions regarding your condition, please see your doctor. Don't forget to click like and subscribe for the latest updates on the newest videos. Let's get into it. Have you ever had someone disappear on you and you had a ton of questions to ask them, but there was no way you can get a response from them? Maybe the person just cut you off, a best friend, an ex, or maybe it's a company or client that you were supposed to talk to and they just stopped talking to you. This leaves you with a feeling of a lack of closure. And that feeling can drive you insane. It could drive you the rest of your life looking for answers that you might not ever get. I had a friend I was pretty close to, I would say so. We'd talk to each other for hours, no problem. We'd go to each other's houses, know each other's family. And I thought we were really close. So when her birthday came around, and I wished her happy birthday on social media, I found out that she deleted her social media altogether. So you know what? I just texted her. Not a problem. Some people cut their social media just, so that they can feel better. Mental health and all that. But when I got a response back from text, it was an angry reply from somebody saying that they don't know who I am. Why am I bothering them? Get the hell away from them. Stop messaging them. Obviously, this person doesn't have my contact, because why would they be asking who I am? So any way you slice it, my old friend stopped talking to me. It could be that she had personal issues. It could be that she has a possessive boyfriend now. I don't know. Hard to say. I had a ton of questions, but now I'm only left with one. Does it even matter anymore? There's an old set of legendary fairy tales called the Arabian Nights, also known as the 1001 Nights. It tells us a lot about human psychology. It's the origin for a lot of stories such as Aladdin and the Magic Lamp, Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves, and the 7 Voyages of Sinbad. It tells us about a ruler, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. He had mistrust in women, so he would execute them the day after he got married with them. When it came up to Scheherazade, who he married, she knew she was going to be executed the next day. So what she did was, she told him a story. And by the time she finished that story, it was the next day. But she didn't really finish her story. She left it as a cliffhanger. So, in order for the ruler to get the conclusion to his story, he had to postpone her execution until the next day. In this case, she continued the next day and left off with another cliffhanger. She continued this, as legend tells it, for 1001 nights. And after the 1001 nights, she finally ran out of stories. And when she ran out of stories, the ruler said that he now trusts women, so he's not going to execute her. This tells us that his need for closure and completeness of the story was more important than his mistrust of women. In a more recent example of the need for human closure comes from the movie Inception. Now in the movie, there are 2 states that you could exist in. You're in the dream state or awake state. In the dream state, if you were to spin a top, that top would continue spinning. However, in the awake state, if you were to spin it, it would fall down at some point. Now the movie gets to the conclusion, and there's a top spinning. And as the top is spinning, the movie cuts out. So we have no closure for this movie. It sparked hundreds of debates online whether there's an actual conclusion to this movie, if the movie is in the dream state or the awake state. It tells us that our need for closure is so important that we're willing to argue with random strangers online about whether this is the dream or awake state. Now this need for closure comes from the human need to clear up ambiguity. There's so many questions we have with our emotions that we need clarity for it. That's why even when we have answers to the questions that we have, we still don't have resolution and closure because the emotions haven't felt better. The emotions need clarity of some sort to feel better. And that's how we get our closure. So when my friends stopped talking to me, it felt like a betrayal. Like I needed closure for it. I had a ton of questions, but I couldn't get any response for them. I could have gone my entire life looking for answers to questions so that I could feel better. There are people who spend their entire lives searching for answers. But you know what it doesn't do? It doesn't really help you feel better. It didn't help me feel better, even if I had the answers. What I realized is I had to find a way to make myself feel better. I had so many questions for my friend. Like, was it something I did? Maybe it was misunderstood. Maybe there was something I did and I didn't know I did it. Maybe it was a habit that I had. It sucked to get cut off like that, and I wanted a rational reason to understand why. There's a philosophy in Stoicism that basically says that you'll be okay no matter what happens. And what that means is the world could have good or bad things happening, but as long as you're okay internally, things should be okay for you. And it can apply here because what you're doing with your emotions is you're searching for validation. You want validation on how you should respond to the situation. You want somebody to tell you, oh, it's okay you feel that way because I'm doing this. Or it's bad that you feel that way because this happened. What you want to do is you want to take that external factor out of there. You don't want to depend your validation on something outside of yourself. You want to be able to tell yourself you're okay, the way you feel, the way you think, and that you want to make improvements the best that you can. So the first step in improving the need for closure is to make sure your validation comes from within. The next thing you could do is you can make sure you make improvements and learn from this situation. What can you learn from your experience? Is there something you could do? Is there something you could make better? Make sure you do these things that you learn from this situation so that you can improve your life, improve the way you do things, improve yourself. There's a big caveat to this, is you can't do it so that the other person is fully aware of it. In other words, you can't put on a show for them so that they know you're a different person. That makes it seem inauthentic. It makes it seem like you're performing it for them. You want to make sure you do it just for your own sake, because you want to be better. You want to improve. You want to learn from life's lesson. Because if there's one thing from life, is that it'll keep throwing the same obstacles at you. And if you don't learn from it, you're not going to improve. And it's actually going to get worse. If you learn from the same things that life keeps throwing at you, you're going to get better. You're going to improve. Because life is like a game. It's going to keep throwing the same levels at you until you learn what it's doing and improve and improvise. Once you do, you get on to the next level and get better. And that's how you win. What do you guys think? Has someone ghosted you and not explained anything? Let me know how it felt in the comments down below. If you're looking to take control of your emotions and want to know what's actually keeping you from taking back control, check out the link in the free ebook below. And if you want the tools to take back control of your emotions, because you're an action taker and you want improvement in your life, a better life, a more successful life, a more stabilized, balanced life, check out the Emotional RX program, where I'm going to be releasing a new ebook soon. Check it out, click on the email link below and subscribe for notifications. Don't forget to click like and subscribe, and until next time guys, be healthy.